Yeah, hi there, and welcome back. So let us continue with our lesson, and let's try to fix this one in our view model. Let's make use of the view model scope dot the launch over here, and I will pass the dispatcher.io. So let's do it in the background thread, or else we can let's make use of the main thread, and then let us call this function that we have. So here we need to show this one, so just copy that one and paste it over here. So progress value, and which is of equals to, we will just say as a true, and then over here we'll just say LA launch the context over here, and we will just say as the dispatcher.io, and then inside this we will call this function, which is of this one. Just copy and paste it over here, and this should be of the RESUL to result. So let's say RESUL to result, and then we pass it on. Since we have the result now, we can check for all of the data. So how do we check the data over here? We will make use of the when condition over here, when the result, and I'll just check for the if the result is the RESUL to result set. Where is that result set dot of the success? So if it is of the success, then that means we have a success and we have the data, and if it is the result set dot is of the error. So that means we have in the error. So how do we handle that error over here? And what we do over here, when it is of the result set of the success, then we will check for, we will get the val data, let's say, which is of equals to the result dot, we'll get the data. And since this is of data, we need to pass it as a list of this return type is of the any. So we need to check, we need to pass it as a list. So I'll just ask the list, li list of the any, and then we have to still check that if the data over here is not null, then we'll go and let and create the val of the task list, let's say task list, which is of equals to it dot we will say filter instance. So if it's the instance of the task list, so we have to make sure that it is a task entity, otherwise they may throw an error. So we just make sure that it is a task list. So I think we don't have to check if it is of null. And then what we will do is, since this is a task list, and when we have a task list, here we are creating the task list, and we are looping through the for loop and creating the task list and inserting that one to the our task repository. So if I go to the insert over here, insert, and if I go to the insert, now here it's taking the, I can just pass the list over here. Sorry, I can pass as a list of the task entity instead of the single. So I think I'll just duplicate this one. So just duplicate that one, and I will just pass it as a insert many over here. So I can just say insert many, and here we can say the list of the task entity, and this should be of the list of the long that we are returning from here. So I need to call this insert many. So I will go to the task repository and just duplicate this one, and here I will just call the insert many, and here we need to pass the list of the task entity. So like that we can just insert in one time instead of looping through all of the list and inserting. That will be quite expensive. So instead of okay, so I just need to pass the task entity over here. So it should be of the insert many. Okay, so now we can call this insert many function. from our home view model. So I'll just go over here, and now since we have a task list of the tasks, I can just say val the insert 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 result, which is of equal, so I can just call the task repository, right? So task repository dot insert many, and then I will pass this task list over here. So that should insert. So it should be insert insert result. So it should give us the all of the list of the inserted ID. So I can just log the timber timber.debug, and I can just try to print out that one. So dollar, and I'll just say insert result set. So that should print for us the result set. Okay, so we are almost done, and then we have to get the task from the DB. So after the result has been inserted, then we still have to go and get the result from the DB. So after we get from the API, then we insert it to the DB, and then we get the task from the DB. So this one should be insert data to the local DB, and then we get it over here. If it is an error, then we have to check something over here. So if I will just check for the result.error. So result.error is not equals to null. So this means that there was an exception. If you go over here, that means here we come over here. Otherwise, it should be null. Default is always null. So if it is not null, then we have to do something. And the else part, if it is null, then that means we are passing some of the error message from here. So for that we need to handle that one. So I'll just go down the top over here, and I think we can create some message over here. So I'll just duplicate this one, and it should be of the int because the return type is of int. And error, I think we will say that error message, so mst error message, and here we will say that error message dot the post value, since we are in the background thread over here, right? So we post the value as the response dot the error message that we get from here, and post it over here. And for this one we have to create the exception. So I have to pass it over here, and we'll just say that's the error message. So what we will do is, here we are getting the error. If it is not null, then we will pass it as a message. I think this should be of the string type, and then we will go over here and we'll just say the error dot message. Sorry, what was that? Okay, so it should be of the error message. I think I'll just say the error message string. Alright, so error message string and error message the int, so int, and that should be 2-1. So error message string and error message, this should be of the int. Error message the string dot the post the value of the result dot we have the error, which is an exception, dot we get the localized message. Okay, so that should be fine, and I think we have now I think I can comment out this one. So this part I don't need it, right? So from here, continuous scope over to here, I think, yeah, somewhere over here. I think that should be fine. So I need this one too. So just minimize this one, and then finally after over here and then when this one completes, then we will just go and post that message over here as the false. Okay, I think that's look fine. And then we have another one which is of get tags from DB. So if it is not if there is no internet, then we should get the tags from the DB. And also after we insert, we are getting the tags from the DB. So we also need to fix this one. And if you go over here, the first one is get max ID from DB. So if we have or some record already inserted, it's getting that record. And then we are calling the GetTaskById over here. So all these also things need to be fixed up. But let us fix up. The first thing is to get the tags from the DB, and we will also utilize of the same function that we have, the same functionality what we have make use over here. So let's do it in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.